Welcome to Dark Loops Productions, Season 4, Westworld, Episode 2. I'm Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher at Illinois State University. And on this podcast of Westworld Season 4 with me are the illustrious women of Sistah Speak Nation. Starting with Sistah Kay, please introduce yourselves and tell us a little something about why you love the show so much.
I am Sistah Kay from the Sistah Speak Productions series of podcasts from a sister's point of view. And I love Westworld because it has some great characters, makes you think. You can't always predict what's going to happen. And I just love I don't know what you call it, mythos or the trying to guess what's going on, what timeline, all of that stuff. I just love the mystery of it and trying to figure it out as I watch.
Fantastic. I might also add that Sistah Kay got the memo about dressing in black tonight in celebration of William's full-fledged return as the man of evil.
I feel out the loop.
Okay, how about you, Sistah Aye?
Hello, I am Sistah Aye from Sistah Speak Productions. I love this show from the very beginning, just trying to figure out who's who and what's what, and through the seasons going from reality back to the Westworld part of the whole, like, I don't even know what the word is, but it draws me in every time, being in Shogun World or Westworld or this one and that one, and it's been great. So looking forward to talking about it.
Excellent. How about you, Sistah Jay?
I'm Sistah Jay. I'm another one of them sisters with Sistah Speak Productions. I'm the oldest, in case you couldn't tell. I like Westworld because, see, I watched the very first Yul Brynner version when it was relatively new. And I have always been a fan of Westworld. I know. So when they started the series, season 1, I thought, ooh, how are they going to do this? Well, what are they going to do? Because I remember all the stuff. So, but, and I'm a science fiction person. So I'm a true Trekkie, an original Trekkie. And that's why I watch it.
I tell you what, you mentioned the original Westworld. This was the beginning of Future World, right? The sequel to Westworld was Future World.
Yes.
And what I love the difference is, instead of bringing the political elites into the park and then changing them out in the park, they're actually out in the world, changing them out in the world. And I just loved getting back into that simple evil vibe.
I know.
Taking over all the political power. And so
but they had to kind of establish everything coming back, in episode 1. So now they're getting back into it.
I love it.
With the Westworld and stuff. And we should have known as soon as it started moving, we should have known.
Yep.
So who was your favorite character this episode?
Ooh, easy.
Clementine.
May.
Man in Black.
No, Clementine for me. And
I'll
tell you why, because it's such a switch from, excuse me, the Clementine we knew in season 1. Sweet, very sweet girl. And I just love, first of all, this woman who plays her is beautiful, and her eyes pierce through the screen at you. But the way that she holds herself, I don't even know how to say it. The way she holds herself and the way she has such control over her face, and her eyes, which is her best, her biggest feature on her face. But the way she just looks at someone when that guy came in, not the VP, but at the office. He was
the government. He was like the CIA or DOJ or something.
Assistant treasurer or whatever. Whatever he was. And he's like, well, your boss doesn't answer the phone and we're here to do that. And she's like, well, but do you have an appointment? And she just looked at me with the eyes. And I don't know, the whole episode, I loved every single scene she was in. I just couldn't take my eyes off of her because of how she moved and how she was playing that role. So, like, I don't know, stoic, but also with a lot of, you can tell there was a lot going behind her eyes, like, okay, I'm about to have to do something.
Right.
Anyway, I don't know. I just loved her in this episode.
She is beautiful, though. She's very, very attractive.
Yes,
very
striking.
Yeah,
in that
that's
scene
striking.
So in that scene on the golf course, when William's talking to the VP, and then she takes care of his bodyguards. Did you notice the guy laying on the ground had the top of his head cut?
Yes.
I didn't.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Didn't.
Yes.
So it looks like she took the top of his skull off and put it back on, all in the time that William was talking to the VP. And you want to, hey, is there one of those logo things on the inside?
See,
I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. Because remember they used to do that in Westworld.
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh,
right
yeah.
behind us there. that
There you
logo.
go.
Yep.
Damn, that was fast. That's pretty surgical too. I mean, it was just
And
a
she was
cut.
wiping her hands off too.
Mhm.
Like,
I
I'm
love
done.
it.
Okay, I'm good.
Let me ask you a question about her character, because you're right. She plays it in this kind of way that's, I want to use the word simple. That's not the word I'm after, but she's
Mhm.
not using a whole lot of complicated face manipulation. And I'm
Yeah.
wondering, are they trying to tell us with a character like hers that there is an android hierarchy and that her programming just isn't of the same subtlety and sophistication? She's more like a drone droid. Is that the
Yeah.
vibe you guys got? Or
I would think absolutely. First of all, Maeve has already let us know, the audience know, that William, we know it's Charlotte, has made upgrades. The senator and his wife
The senator,
host
that's
were
right,
Oh,
yeah.
upgraded
yes.
because they was kicking Maeve's butt
they were.
there for a minute. So,
Mhm.
you know, but as far as Clementine, when the man in black first meets her, she was that same sweet girl that she was in Westworld. After he shot her
Yes.
or killed her, and then probably made upgrades, like Maeve already said, the others were upgraded, so she had to upgrade herself. Then that's, to me, why she acts so different. Because
So
she
let me-
acts so different. But if you recall, in season maybe 2 maybe, or 3, I'm getting mixed up, but anyway, when Maeve was getting ready, Clementine was joining Dolores when they had the revolt.
Mm.
She was this badass fighter too then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
because Dolores had changed
Yeah.
her.
Right.
Her
So
programming.
William did that same thing.
So when William killed her as the man in black cowboy style,
Mhm.
do you think that was the timeline we're in now?
Yes.
Because that could have also been in good old fashioned Westworld, him looking for Maeve. I mean, they were in some kind of Spanish
Okay.
town.
I
So
think
I'm
it
just
is-
throwing it out there.
I have a
Mhm.
question about that, because I thought I had all of the timeline set in my mind. However, William says before he introduces the Golden Age,
We're
it's been
going-
150 years since
Yeah.
the massacre. 150
Oh.
years.
But is he talking about, which massacre is he talking about is the question,
See?
because is it the
I don't
one
know.
with Arnold, or is it the one sent in our Westworld time?
I don't know.
But I honestly feel like the William and Clementine at the very beginning was current
Yeah,
Mm.
I do
because I
too.
think it's the Charlotte William
Yes, it
Man in
is.
Black. And so I think that's in our time. And I think she's a little bit like Dolores
Mhm.
is Chrissy right now, because when everything got wiped out, I feel like all of the hosts got wiped, or their memories got wiped, or maybe
Mm.
someone reprogrammed them to be white
Mhm.
or plain or basic or whatever we want to call it, like Christina is right now. So I feel
Right.
like that's
Right.
current time. And of course, all of that's happened to build up to what's happening now. Charlotte building her arsenal army or whatever.
So if that's in
my
the present where William's
But
hunting
Christina's
down,
not in the present.
No, I'm not saying she
no,
is, but
I
I'm
mean
saying,
the scene with
well, we
what's
don't
her-
know that.
Clementine.
Clementine.
Yep.
Why is he dressed like a cowboy?
Yeah. Yeah.
He likes
But
it.
he always dresses like that. Yeah, he likes it. I mean, the only difference with him on the golf
I
course
mean, that's
is,
gonna really stand out.
well, but think about
Yeah.
it. The
Don't
only
care.
difference with his outfit on the golf course was a smaller hat.
A different texture.
He had the
Yeah.
same kind of hat and everything, but the brim was way smaller.
No, that's, by the way, a straw fedora. I looked it
There
up.
you go.
That's
Thank
what
you.
that
That's
is.
awesome.
Where
Exactly.
when he's in his full regalia, he got the big brim
But I
and
think
everything.
that's because he discovered his true self,
Yeah.
whatever, in Westworld, and so now he is this
Exactly.
cowboy rogue,
All right.
whatever. That's
And
him,
as Charlotte tells
even in the outside world.
as Charlotte tells the government guy right before she kills him with the fly,
Love it.
you know,
I don't think
her
she killed
goal
him.
is to allow people like her to chart their own path. That's what she said. She wants them to chart their own path. Now,
Right.
they start out with her because she obviously put the pearl there, but she wants them to grow and evolve their own path.
Mhm.
And she also only puts hosts in key positions, like that senator and his wife, the
Right.
vice president.
Right.
He didn't do it to the president yet, but he did it to the vice president because that was the guy on the golf course.
And do you
Right.
think that's what she just did to the guy in the car, or did she just straight up kill him?
I don't think he's dead, but
No.
it's
Yeah.
like the guy last episode with the flies.
Yep.
The dam.
And apparently the flies make you
He was
do
at the
stuff.
presentation.
Yes.
Right. So he's not dead.
No,
That doesn't mean that he's a host either.
that's true. But
Well-
he's controlled just like that
But he's
cartel guy.
controlled. Right. Exactly.
Well,
But he's not-
when the senator's wife, am I right in this? It's the senator's wife got shot in the
Yes.
head. Was it black ooze started?
Yeah.
Somebody
Yes.
black ooze.
Yeah.
That was
So-
not red blood.
So I'm thinking that's related to the flies going in.
I think so
then-
because
Could be. It
Maeve
alters
made,
them.
remember
somewhat.
Maeve made the comment. She said she's mostly human.
Most.
No,
And she
she
said
said
that
she's not like
before
any
the
human I've
camera
ever
went to
seen.
her.
Right.
And Caleb was looking at that blood and it was black ooze.
I mean, if the fly did that, that's an awful lot of fly poop. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm wondering.
Oh, gross.
Nasty.
I just got well, I'm
Just a
interested to
thought.
figure out what they're doing, right? Because
Yeah.
they're taking over humans, because they take over the senator's wife, because it's the senator's wife who's out cutting up the horses
Yeah.
as if she's on some loop.
Yeah.
And then she's the one who
Right.
delivers the
But-
invitation to Delos,
And
right?
then she kind of like woke
Well,
up out of
but
it.
Yes.
Charlotte
Mhm.
said when Charlotte comes in, because the senator's getting ready to shoot the real wife, and Charlotte stops him and says, "No, I need her now." And she made reference to some kind of experiments they're doing.
Right.
So they needed the wife who was
Yeah.
fully human for whatever experiments they're doing.
Because I feel like those flies are like the
Mhm.
new aged pearls.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
they can actually but not like so much in that they're hosts now, but it's like
Mhm.
a way to control humans that aren't hosts
Mm.
without
Could
you know
be.
killing them and
Oh,
replicating them and all that
Right,
stuff.
right.
I
Yeah.
really hope they go into the technology. Maybe the flies are landing in a certain part of their brain. I would just
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
That would
I
just
to
be
see
think
what
that's
they
coming.
think's going
I
on.
think that's coming.
I don't want to see the eye though thing. That thing is
No,
so
no.
Oh,
nasty.
that was so
No.
freaky.
I
That
didn't
was
look.
aw- That's
I
what's so
did.
great about sci-fi. No, man, I watched it 2 or 3 times. It
Yeah,
was
I
awesome.
did too. I
man.
watched it.
Yeah,
I didn't
I was
blink.
like,
I thought, ooh, I
Why
wanna
isn't
see.
this
And it
guy
went like,
blinking?
No, but it went like up in that
No.
eyelid. Oh my
And you know, you're
gosh.
sitting there watching and going,
Yeah.
like wiping your own eyes. I mean, no. Oh my God, that was fantastic. So who
Yeah.
else has a favorite character?
Maeve was it for me.
Maeve was the
She
bomb.
looked good the
Always has-
whole
Yeah.
time, but it's just her whole aura for me. She is
Right.
just so classy and so
Yeah.
deadly. You know, she's so deadly.
Yes.
And I loved it when she was getting beat up, and then she realized, oh, they got some upgrades. Okay, well let me bear on down. You know, and I mean,
Exactly.
But she-
Oh my
about
gosh.
that a minute because she had to dig down
Wow.
in her archives probably.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
love the whole scene where she's questioning the senator and she says, "Show me." And then, but
Yeah.
this guy was
I
great.
like how
His
she
eyes
does
start
that.
going like this. just like a little data thing. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And then, you know, she got the whole picture of it, which I really, really like. But the whole thing, like when they went to the opera, and she was just beautiful. Once they went to the train, and if you notice, it's just like, I kind of figured they was going to end up at Westworld, because it was just like when William went down that long corridor.
You didn't know that.
And he opened the door. Yeah, it was the same thing. It was the same thing, especially when they opened the door and there's that little speakeasy thing, or the little club car, or whatever.
That whole, once we knew they were going, you know, the Delos owned it, and we knew they were going into a park, it just felt like I was having a good old drink. You know, it's just, back into Westworld, back into all the mess.
Yeah.
As soon as he said she'll have a sherry, I thought, you know what, this is a repeat of her being the saloon madam.
Yes, and some of those lines,
I mean, she even took the same pose. She had her back to the counter, and she had her little elbows up there, and she was looking around. You know, same thing.
She did.
I love there's something in that character, because she, like, there's a line early on in the center when she says, "You're droids, so am I." Right? She's just completely comfortable with who and what she is. She's been through it all, and she goes back to Westworld, and Caleb starts to freak out because his communicator doesn't work anymore, and she goes, "Just, we're here, darling. Just take care of it." Some of her drinking lines are the best. She says something like, "You, my friend, are a featherweight with drink." And he gives her crap, and she says, "I am an infinitely adaptable machine, darling."
She is.
Yes,
she is though.
Yeah.
Machine.
And then she says, "You really are not the congenial drinker I was thinking I'd have," or something along I was hoping for. Just love that kind of language in those moments. I mean, we could say it's Hollywood, but it's also a part of knowing where you are, knowing the stakes. And it's not that you're not scared. It's just like, yo, I've been here a million times.
Right.
It's what we're going to do now.
I'm anxious to see if, since how Clementine's back, and now they're going to another park where some of the things are going to be the same as what we witnessed in Westworld, then I wonder if the character like Felix and all that background stuff is going to be there. So Maeve can like maybe even get me even more upgrades. You know what I mean? So
I hope so.
That's going to be interesting.
I like that part.
Maeve is going to need the upgrades.
Oh yeah, she's going to need
to take care of the senator, but I don't think she's going to be able to handle everything that's going to be coming, because she had a hard time with them.
She did. She had a hard time.
Let's just take a moment, and what the hell is Maeve doing? In other words, who is her enemy? Is it that William and Charlora are trying to take over humanity, and she's a droid who doesn't want him to do that?
Well, she's looking for William. That's who they're looking for.
Yeah.
Like
William's also looking for her.
But that's because it started when that general or whatever came to her cabin, and that's where she's on this mission to get to William.
Right.
Because she was trying to question who sent you, why.
Exactly.
Right.
So I think she's trying to figure out, okay, what is he up to? Because I don't want him recreating what I tried to break, what we broke down.
Exactly.
And now that she saw what actually happened and saw, William come in, get the senator and his wife, and then Charlotte came in, and I love that scene when she's like, "Oh, okay."
No, what she said was, "Oh, it's worse than I thought."
Worse than I thought. But I like her initial, like, "Oh, all right, okay." There's Charlotte. So I think now she's really like, okay, I need to find out what's going on, because obviously they're upgrading, so they're doing something. Now Charlotte's involved. However, William, Charlotte. I mean, there's multiples.
Right.
Will Shaloris, that's the whole crew.
Will Shaloris.
So what is there going to be something different in the park? I mean, now the park is not, it's not being run by Ford to create evolved droids that can kill humans. Now it's being run by William, who wants to kill all humans.
Well, okay.
And that's
in my opinion,
quite different, but
but in my opinion, it's the exact same thing as we came to know in Westworld, except it's flipped. So the hosts who she has allowed to evolve by themselves are the ones who are going to be creating havoc on the human beings, on the humans. So the humans are the prey this time, I think.
So the guns are going to work.
Yeah,
The guns are just going to work.
Oh,
I think so.
That would
Yeah.
be it. Well,
yeah.
And they're
awesome.
why he's calling it the golden age, I don't know, because that was the age of the 20s, the mafia,
God,
Jazz,
gangsters.
rise
prohibition,
and
yep.
everything. So who
Mhm.
knows?
That was also the age of the Great Depression. That was also the
Exactly.
age of private industry dominating the government up until the New Deal. I loved the comparison of Fitzgerald and Hemingway.
Yes. Mhm.
The brutishness of Hemingway is to propose to the finesse and privilege of Fitzgerald. I just thought that was really well done, because both of those writers, in the same time, dealing with different parts of the time, the golden
Yes.
age. Well, I love it. I mean, it's because it's like private industry on steroids.
Well,
right.
I got the impression that the reason why it is called that, and the reason why that is the time period, and that's because of that is what the investors wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like William standing there talking to the people,
giving a TED talk.
All these investors and stuff. And he's saying, we worked hard, you helped us work hard and stuff. And everyone there is just so ooh and on over this particular park.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling, it was probably done because that's what, maybe they took a survey or something and then the investors said, this is what we
I don't
want.
think they care about the investors think.
Well,
so I think so.
Jobs used to do things like that for Apple new iPhone rollouts, right? People would sit in the audience and ooh ah. It's
ooh,
like
yeah.
It was like almost scripted and kind of bizarre. That's what people did. I think they're kind of making fun of us. I wonder if they're trying to do anything like, for example, last in season 3 when they had Rehoboam, right, who was supposed to be kind of a metaphor for Google and Facebook, right?
You could say that real good.
I'll never say Rehoboam and throw another bum in the middle.
I heard that.
Rehoboam. I have no idea if it's correct, but it
sounds good.
But I mean, are they trying to say something now about our sort of Steve Jobs? Who am I looking at? The guys who are going to outer space.
Bezos.
Yeah. Are they trying to say something about that culture?
Musk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Are they trying to say something
be
about,
could be.
We'll see it play out. I have to tell you though, this feels like it just feels like we're going back to, as you said earlier, a place that we know, and it feels really good. And
well, that part of it does. However, okay, they need to move, but just in my opinion, just like the other seasons, they need to move Dolores, aka Christina's storyline. No, her storyline. They need to move it along. Okay, first of all, I think she was the person in the mental hospital who painted those tower pictures.
You think those are her paintings?
I think it's her paintings, even though she doesn't recall it, because she got a visible reaction when she saw those paintings.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, but if you notice also when she is walking to work and she encounters the bum
again,
and she says whatever she says to him, and I forget.
Tower?
But
it's about the tower.
But he acted, to me, he acted like he didn't even hear her. He didn't even see her. He didn't even hear her. And he was talking about nobody sees the tower or hears them birds singing or whatever, but me and the birds. And then what does she see? She sees a bunch of dead birds.
Right. I noticed that. I was thinking something along those lines too, but not with him. But when she saw the birds and she was looking at them, but nobody else was noticing the birds.
Nobody.
And it wasn't just one bird.
It was a lot.
They were all over. I'm thinking,
Mhm.
how are people just walking by these birds? So either they're fake
or she's fake.
Yeah.
Or she's in a simulation. Like
In
she's
her
in
own
a
simulation.
virtual reality simulation.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Like the initial
Yeah.
host would maybe
That's
be
what
like a
I thought
beta
because
test version or something.
yeah,
Exactly.
because when she got to that mental hospital, it was all, it had obviously been closed for years and years, and they're obviously getting ready to renovate it. But dusty and plans and everything. But nah, I bet you she was a patient in there. I bet you she was.
What if she was, and now they're practicing on her with the reveries of having her forget her old life and then putting her back into the beta, trying to see if they can do that. Isn't this just so cool?
Yeah.
I mean, they know
I
exactly
love
what's
it.
going
But
on.
see, to me, the most fascinating part of this episode 2 for me was at the end when William said it's 150 years. And the first thing I thought of was Bernard is covered with dust. He's covered. He's covered head to toe with dust.
I know, I'm waiting for Bernard.
I'm looking.
So
he's gonna get in that tub with Stubbs and
years?
wash off and come save the day.
I know. But think about it. If he's been sitting there for 150 years, you would be covered in dust like that.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, but that 150 years just intrigues me. But I forgot about until Kay mentioned it. I forgot about, maybe he's talking about when Arnold, that massacre with Dolores, or I just assumed he was talking about when
wait a minute.
all the people got their eyes open.
Now, what I remember, because when you said 150, I'm like, what?
That's what he said, though.
I think what he said was 150 years ago, our species fought World War One. That's what I thought I heard.
That's not what he said.
No.
He said 150 years ago, the first massacre, but he said massacre.
Yeah.
Okay, Jay, you said that word.
Because I was thinking 150 years since the Golden Age.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Golden Age followed World War One.
Right.
So they're not. So to me, what that means is they're telling us it's about 2170 or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting that I heard massacre too, or at least that's what I'm recollecting. But it's interesting that when the senator said, when William was there and saying, you're going to sign off on whatever, he says, oh, no, I can't. My wife's sister died in the massacre. And I'm assuming it's the one that we saw.
Yeah.
With Maeve and Caleb.
Right. But it could be the Arnold one.
Or it could be the Ford one, right?
It could have been a different one. It could have been, you know what I'm saying? It could have been anything because we don't really quite know what they're considering this massacre.
Right.
That's intriguing, though.
Yeah, it is. Since they mentioned it like twice in this episode, that word, massacre.
Yeah, no, I think, I got the vibe. The senator's wife, she may have even been in season 1 if we go back and watch, right, as one of those people in there, and she survived.
I don't know.
Ford's massacre. She may have been someone who survived Ford's massacre.
Because some of those people did survive.
Yes.
And now that we say this, I almost have an image of her in a fancy dress running around in the desert trying to.
Okay, I got a question too. One thing I was puzzled about as well was why Charlotte unfroze the man in black, or William, just to question him for a few minutes and then froze him back up, or stuck him with something to make him sleep and froze him back up.
That was the weakest writing point.
Because she didn't get any new information. So that was like an info dump to me, of which I didn't like. I didn't appreciate.
Agreed. And the droid man in black came in behind her. You didn't really get a shot. But so all I could put together was that she was really, this was Charloris, really kind of rubbing it into his face. What's going on? And maybe it took her this long to get to the point where the new William was working the right way. And, everything was at the right point where she could go, ha ha, I got you. That's the only sense I could. Otherwise, it was nothing but pure info dump. And there wasn't really much info there other than Bio William is alive.
Right.
Still there, right?
I like that scene.
Which was surprising.
Well, go ahead.
Now,
Go ahead. You liked it. Go ahead.
Think it's still some of Dolores and Charlotte? Because I don't. I feel like that is all Charlotte now. And she's evolved, like she was saying, into her own being without anything in it, without any influences from Dolores.
I would agree with that.
But
that doesn't mean that she's who Charlotte was before.
No.
True.
No. She's become new Charlotte.
Something else.
Right?
Well, because her family and everything died in that fire. I mean, she was firebombed and everything. So
she's supposed to be the Darth Vader of this series. Right? I mean,
she acted pretty Darth Vaderish to me.
Yeah, she just soloed William there.
She sure did, didn't she?
Yeah.
And he did not say I love you. Or she did not say I love you.
No.
And calling them livestock, put her in with the rather livestock.
With the rest of the livestock.
She was just steering, like.
No, that's interesting
she
because
hates humans now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, that's also the hatiest of Dolores. That's the hatiest part of Dolores too. Now, Charloris was struggling last season.
Yeah.
And then when the humans who bombed her car and killed her family.
Yes.
Then I can't say she went full Dolores, but she went pure hate and killed the humans. And I don't remember how she probably ends up aligning with Droid William through
remember last season, the finale, when they had those two Williams fighting each other, and she had created that.
She created him.
All those other instances of all the other hosts. So it kind of makes sense because even in the first episode, when he's doing that deal with the cartel, you can tell he just has a disregard for the people that he's dealing with. Like, oh, you're gonna do it. You're gonna take my money today, or you're gonna die tomorrow, and I'm gonna get it anyhow. All of that was kind of like, okay, dude, whatever. I'm gonna still get what I'm gonna get.
What makes you think I'm gonna pay you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, he has a total disregard because he knows, and it's kind of like her sentiment. You're a human. You're just a lowly human. I'm gonna switch you out anyway. I was just waiting. And I love that golf cart scene when the vice president's doing all that wolf talk. He's talking.
Oh yeah, he was selling them wolf tickets.
Right. And couldn't back none of it up. And then when William was like, yeah, we knew you was going to come because we knew you couldn't help yourself, because they know these cocky, overconfident fools that are in this power position,
human
that
nature,
roughshod over people. Like, oh no, I'm switching this out. It's like, oh yeah, well, we knew you'd be back. We knew when. We knew you wouldn't bring your people because you thought you was all that. And I'm glad you did, because I'm gonna take care of what I need to take care of now. I've been letting you run, but now it's time for me to take over. So, boop. And then I love
how he sunk those 3 holes in one. And you just see the VP all of a sudden realize, oh shit.
And the dialogue there, he says, when I was in the midst of my turn or whatever it was, or my spiral, I realized that I had thought I was in the midst of power, and I was actually in a delusion. We're all alone, and we're always alone.
Yeah, he was saying that for the VP's benefit.
You follow that logic, you can start to believe it, and the world gets real small, but God, is there a better actor to deliver those lines, man? And the thing about this guy, look, he's not young, and at the same time, all of the emotional vulnerability, flexibility, fluidity is there. You can see him taking a breath, but you can see him gasping at all. Dude's got total machismo from beginning to end. And I love it.
Did you happen to look at the little now at the end of the episodes, they're showing a little clips, of how they make it and stuff. And they said on the one producer said on purpose, they had made the host William more, his skin more smooth and everything, so you recognize that he is the host, where they've put extra makeup and extra lines and extra flesh tone on the William who's in that big old machine thing.
One, the human
one. The human one. So people can tell the difference. And I started paying attention, and just visually you can see the difference.
Well, that's what I did before the show. I used a lot of makeup to age myself tonight, so later on when I show up, I can just take.
You're the host of you actually are the host of the show.
I absolutely. Then there's a great line he says to the VP, "I've realized I'm neurodiverse, and I'm really getting used to it." Just such witty dialogue, man.
Why do you think we didn't see Teddy this episode?
Yeah.
We saw him at the very last on episode 1.
Did we only see him when she was in trouble?
Yes.
Well, now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
right
he
after.
showed up a couple of times when she was in trouble, and
Okay.
I mean, like you said, this one's going to play out.
Yeah.
They're probably going to take 7 episodes
Slow
on this
roll.
one.
Oh, and this is another thing too. I did like the scenery. I was trying to decide in my mind, because it was daytime. Where could they film this? I love the whole overview scene where she's in the little car and there's another car ahead of her, but there's nothing else on the road but these two. I love that because it was so futuristic looking.
Yeah.
But one thing I was really surprised is her surprised that her boss was tracking her. Don't you know that? She was surprised that he knew she was going to New Jersey.
Yeah, she's really coming across as season 1 Dolores, isn't she?
Yes.
She's really coming across as this kind of naive, earnest young woman.
Innocent. Yep.
Yes.
But that's how her host was too.
Yeah.
But at least she gets 4 whole sick days a year.
When he said that, I said, "Damn."
Yes.
All right. Well,
Hey,
that's a future, y'all.
I may take that in a month.
Or is it?
In
a month.
Man. So anything else that stuck out about this episode for you guys?
Well, sorry, I don't think I finished on the last scene with
go ahead.
with William when the door opens and everything.
Oh,
I like that scene.
Thing.
And I feel like she was just trying to be like a na 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 na. Look what I did, to him, to make him suffer because he's now caught.
Yeah.
I had to cut your paws off so you couldn't.
Damn. While she's stroking him and everything. I mean, that was
But that is
the host William to like gloat in his face, like, "Oh, you thought she was all that? Well, you know what? I got this over here, and I can control this one."
Yeah.
And have him do what I need done, because he's the head, the face of the company.
Yeah.
And take care of my business. And just so that you're now my pet, not the other way around.
Well, I have a question, and that is that whole little circle thing. She must have adapted because back in Westworld, that little circle thing was where they built the bodies. The skeleton underneath.
It's the new cryo chamber.
Yeah.
Right.
So she must have adapted that to be some kind of torture thing or something. And did you notice, like, in the suit that they had him in, there was all these electrodes all the way down. So whenever she would touch, they like lit up and then they went all the way down. I wonder what that was doing.
Oh, I would buy one of those shirts if I could find it.
I bet you would.
Wear that around skin tight and have a great day on the subway. Absolutely.
I feel like my first thought was that while he's in his cryo sleep or whatever we call it, hibernation, they're still able to get maybe information from him or like track his thought processes or whatever
Yeah.
to reinforce whatever loops. Well, if she's letting them create their own life, then maybe she's not doing any loops with her people, but
she did
it was
say
something to like keep up with to make sure he's still alive and maybe also take readings from his brain or something.
I think you're right.
That
there may
could
be some analog that he still has that they haven't been able to digitize.
Because she did say you're the closest thing to God that any human has ever come close to. So maybe you're right that there's some
because he was the
activity.
Well, kind of, if you
the creator,
if you don't count Ford, but yeah.
So now that we're pretty certain, William
but he even
droid.
outwitted Delos and Ford to a certain extent. So yeah, I would say William was a creator.
So if he's kind of a droid, if he's a drone now, working for Charlotte. Right. And Charlotte seems to be the real power behind what the droids are doing. And then Maeve is out there as some kind of counterforce. We haven't seen Bernard yet. I still always go back to the thing we talked about last week, where Ford says to Maeve, you were the special one, right? I did. So what is it? I mean, Ford wanted his droids to be able to kill humans so they could defend themselves and evolve and live their own lives. So is it the tension between the three of them that he hopes keeps going, or in other words, because Dolores, obviously, it's not Dolores's desire to kill them all. That is what Ford wanted. So is there a tension between Ford Bernard and Maeve that Dolores Bernard and Maeve? I mean, what is it that Ford?
We talked about this last time though, and in my opinion, I mean, unless they show us something different, we have not seen all of Maeve, because there's a reason why Ford made her different and told her, but you're different. You and only you. There's not another one. Like, Dolores is like, Clementine is like, Bernard is like, all of them, but nobody's like Maeve. So we don't really know yet.
Right.
Not yet. All of what Maeve is.
I really hope we're not outthinking the writers, right? I doubt that we are, but I really hope that the writers are going to cash in on the importance of Maeve's, or excuse me, on the importance of Ford's kind of, statement to Maeve about her being special. And hope that we see what he meant by that. I don't know. I hope they just haven't forgotten about it, right? That they're just moving on, which I doubt they have.
Because you know how these shows get when they got several seasons. They do like sometimes leave stuff hanging.
Well, that's the thing about these ones that are well written, is that that's their game. And if they don't do that, they lose. I mean, we've all talked about The Expanse, right? And that was one of them that just did it. It just kept 6 seasons of immaculate writing and tied it all up in a wonderful bow. And there were other shows, the names of which I won't say, that didn't do that, and we find them highly, highly frustrating and feel cheated. So I know I will feel cheated at some point if I don't get this understanding of what Ford meant by Maeve being special. Just blathering.
I feel like that takes me back to the first season and why me questioning Ford's motivations with the reveries in the first place, because it seemed like he was against what Westworld had become, but on the other hand, in several episodes, he was also really cavalier about who the hosts were and how they were treated. Like he was in there, I think, investigating why Dolores's, or maybe it was Maeve, I can't remember which host it was he was talking about, and I think it was what was the little cute little guy that was working on her? One of the people,
Felix
had put like a cover on her, and he said, she's a host. It doesn't matter. You don't need to do all that. You don't need to protect her modesty. So I'm thinking there's some contradiction there. Like, okay, you're treating them like robots or hosts, but on the other hand, you're the one creating these reveries. But was it? And see, I need to go back and watch the first season again, because now I'm misremembering maybe
I don't think you are.
Part of it, because it was like, okay, on the one hand, you're creating this to allow them to protect themselves, but then on the other hand, you're treating them like they're just nothing.
But he was a human being. Human beings are contradictory like that.
Well, that's what
I mean.
That's
human
what they're
beings are
giving us.
contradictory like that.
True.
And
I mean, he built Bernard. He drew Bernard. He plotted him out, and he made Bernard.
Yeah.
And he made Bernard in such a way that Bernard didn't even know he was a host.
Yeah.
And then he made Bernard kill that woman.
Right. Well,
yeah.
She had to go though, because she knew too much. She knew too much, so she had to go.
But then, so when you talk about like the tension between Bernard and Ford and Dolores and Maeve, yeah, because as Bernard in particular, I would feel a certain kind of way.
He does.
Realizing that, oh, I'm not myself, who I thought I was all this time. I'm your creation. This man created me, not this God or this being or whatever he believes in, created me, and I've lived my whole life as me. No, you created me. You had me on a loop. All the suffering I went through with my son and my wife and you create. So I would feel a certain kind of way about that and have that.
But Bernard also knows too that he is different than Maeve, and Maeve is different from him.
Yeah.
Because Maeve can shut him down. Vice versa is not true.
And Maeve is completely comfortable with who she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where
he's still like discovering who he
is. Exactly.
I mean, in the end, that might be it, right? Where Ford created her to have the closest thing we can have to free will.
Could be.
And complete understanding. And then because of that, she's able to see that Charlotte might be going too far. The Man in Black might be going too far in ways that Dolores season 1, 2 couldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it comes to the point where they're actually telling a story about, as you said, Jay, about the inherently contradictory nature of the human condition, then I at least hope that they map that out coherently, so that some people leave this story with that as part of the conscious story they tell themselves, and they don't just have to find it over 4 years. Somehow it comes out, because that's an important message. And if it gets lost on people, I think that's too bad. Okay. Any other final comments about this episode?
No, it was great.
I love it. I love where the show's going.
I'm glad they're back in a park though, because I want to see the administration.
Me too.
Because she's gonna make it worm her way into the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to see.
I love it.
Yeah. What upgrades have they done?
We didn't talk about more, or maybe we did, is Dolores when she does go to the hospital and sees that the Peter, whatever his name is, died so many years ago, obviously, and donated. So that Peter dude that fell off or jumped off the building was obviously a host or a pre-host or whatever it is that they're doing. It depending on what timeline we think she's in. And I'm
starting to think that, you know what, because every time we see her wake up, it's just like season 1.
Yeah,
it's like every day is a new reverie, right? Every day is a new life.
Every day.
And I'm starting to think that we're seeing 2 timelines of her character. Be in this same space, which would just be totally friggin' amazing.
Yes.
What do you think about her roommate?
I was just looking up her name.
She's a plant.
Okay, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
She is a plant from William. William done put her in there to keep an eye on her. She spills any information.
Or the boss or the company or whatever is going on.
No, that's William. I'm sure it's William.
Because everything she says is, hey, you're not crazy. Everything's okay. Just keep running the simulation for us,
Come home
please.
and I'll fix you a nice cup of tea.
And next thing she knows, she waking up in the next morning.
Yes.
zipping
You
her
know
bed
what?
back up.
Mhm.
The actress playing her is infectious. She was in Hamilton as one of the sisters.
Oh,
She
Oh,
was.
yes.
I think she was in the new West Side
I thought I've
Story.
seen her. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
she was in
Yes,
Hamilton.
got an
That's where I
infectious
remember
smile.
her
We saw
from.
Hamilton.
And the thing is, they're using that just overflowing happiness and optimism.
She's a plant,
mean,
though.
yeah, I
You
agree
better
completely.
believe she's
She's
reporting
totally
back.
plant.
Something's
I
not
think
right
she's
there.
reporting back to William.
Something is not right there.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, wouldn't it be awesome for this? I mean, this actress has been put in these roles, right? Where she's got all this flowery positive. I'd love to see her go wicked, man. I'd love to see her
Well,
go
but that's
mean.
what
might.
Dolores
She might.
just did. So
Exactly.
it could be by the time the end of the season, she might again,
Yeah.
you know, but she did that last season. So
Yeah, I'd love to see that happen.
mm,
So we have a bit of viewer mail. I'm going to go ahead and read into all those who are watching the show here. I'm going to
Okay.
read viewer mail. If I perhaps edit a word or two, that's because I'm a square, and I'll take the hit for it. So we have email from Goody.
hey,
who says,
Goody.
Hey, Goody.
Hey, good.
Goody
Ruth.
here with some thoughts on Westworld season 4. First of all, I love the pod YouTube collaborations. Some of you are smart to host the sisters. I hope you all reach a myriad of new audience members. Ladies, give yourself a round of applause. Thank you for being here. So Westworld
Oh, wait a minute.
feedbacks. Maeve is the shit. We all know this. To me, she is the clear hero of the series so far. I especially enjoyed when she shot the senator in the penis.
Oh Lord.
Yes, did you see that? She
Yeah,
went,
she did. She said,
Wait
"Oh,
a minute,
you know
I
what?
thought she shot him in the leg, man, so we couldn't
No.
move
I
anymore.
didn't think
Oh,
it
it was
was
the groin.
there.
It was the groin."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so. And
It was
That's
the
when she
groin.
kind of rolled her eyes and went bam.
and it's interesting that that's what took him down, even
Yes.
That's why he got shot
As
in
a
the leg,
host?
man.
No,
As a
it
host?
wasn't the leg.
All right. All right. William.
Well, it
William
might have
is
been his third leg.
Oh my
Whee!
Lord.
Keep it clean, Jay.
There you go. So William is a great villain. My favorite line, F. Scott Fitzgerald was an effete P word. Having taught American Lit for 2 decades, I also have formed a strong opinion of this writer. Oh my God, I love Tessa Thompson so much. We need
Yes.
more of her in the episodes. I think we're going to get more of her. I think
Yes.
I think so.
she's going to be, even though William's the front man for Evil, I think she's going to be the real big baddie of the season. And we'll see. Do you think they're going to give her an arc?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, or she's just
What
going to stay
kind,
maniac.
though?
Yeah.
You know,
I
I mean,
know. Like, I don't know if
It's just
who
like
I
could
feel
she lose
one
now?
thing
that
on her
we're-
mind.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. What could she lose? Because
Yeah.
I think feel
Well,
like
but
her
see-
biggest arc was last season.
Yeah, but see, okay, y'all forgetting a very important thing. She has not encountered Maeve.
No.
She has not
No.
encountered Maeve. So we don't know.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Fair enough. Well, okay. I mean, that could be an arc. That would be kind of a, well,
Never know.
So
We'll
it
see.
depends on
Yeah.
whether, Charlotte has made upgrades to herself where she can
I'm sure she
control
has.
things without having to hit a button or something like Maeve can.
I don't think
And
so.
then I don't know. It's just gonna depend on how that
I don't think so because
upgrade
I
thing
think that
plays
is
out.
unique
Mm.
to Maeve because of what Ford did.
I think that's
See.
part of it.
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think she's going to encounter Maeve. Now that you say all this, she's
Yeah,
gonna,
I
and
think she
Maeve's-
will.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
Maeve's going to tell her to stop being such a damn Dolores. All right. I
It's your own
suspect that-
personality.
Exactly. I was pretty upset about the stable scene. Why they got to kill those horses? Even with
Yeah.
whatever messed up world within a world meta plot line this is, ain't no need to show up that stuff. Period.
It was kind of gross.
They were
It was
fake.
kind of gross and it was kind of a useless dark loop.
Yeah, what the heck's she doing with
I
them
mean,
anyway?
Is it like, one
She
of
was
those-
making a part of the maze with their entrails. Didn't you see that? In
No.
that
I saw her
one?
cutting them
I
up,
wasn't
but I
looking
didn't
that
see
No,
them.
no, no,
I
no.
didn't notice that. I
Yeah,
didn't notice
there's
that.
a scene where
It
they
was kinda dark.
showed the stall, or I guess you call it the stall, where the horse was, where she was.
Yeah.
And way over here, there was all these, and to me, it looked like sausages, but it was probably, intestines.
Yeah.
But they were laid out like the maze.
So even at this edge of the narrative, right, at this front edge, that maze image is still
coming up,
still there,
popping up.
right?
Yep.
Okie doke. Caleb's haircut is stupid, by the way.
Thank you, Goody Roop. Thank you.
Since they don't like
You
that
know what
hair.
it was? They heard Sistah Jay's talking all last season about his damn forehead.
Oh,
Gonna give him
now
a
he's
crap about
covered
his
it.
hair.
No,
I'll tell
she
you what.
gave crap about his forehead. She kept talking every episode about his
No.
forehead. And I was like, okay, leave the man's
Oh,
forehead.
it's
He can't
huge.
control his forehead.
It's huge.
I tell you what, the guy of all the actors in the show, he's got the greatest challenge acting up against Maeve. I
Yeah.
mean, she's just one of the more fluid characters, and
True.
there were a couple of like his fight scene was horrible.
I know.
His fake fighting was some of the worst I've seen, and it's like, how did you let that make the final cut? I mean, you could see he was preparing to bounce before he was hit. I mean, it was really bad.
I didn't
if
even
you go
notice
back.
that.
No,
I
it's
was
just
like,
bad.
oh.
You could tell it was a dance, right? You could see the choreography, and it's too much. But what only complaint I have about dude is that beard is too thin. Man, if you can't grow it, mow it. That's all there is to it.
You guys are rough on folks.
Or get some crayon or something, man. Just fill that shit
I just
in.
couldn't get past the
Wow.
hair. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
If you can't grow it, mow it. That's a good
That's
one.
good.
I
That's
love
Y'all
that.
are rough on folks. First of all, y'all, you know what? He can't control his head size, his beard.
He can
his
control whether or
fake
not he
hair they
grows the
put on
beard.
him.
But
Let me
now
control
that
that.
you mention it, now that you refresh my memory, yeah, that's probably why they got the bangs on him.
Because you complained and they heard about it.
Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh, it was so annoying. Every other word. Oh, his
Yeah.
damn forehead. I can't see past his forehead.
See,
Leave the poor man's forehead alone. Just
Mm.
watch what he's talking about.
I do like the actor.
I do
Um,
too.
I think he's a good actor.
You know, and we could talk about this for a little bit if you want. I'm always amazed at how when writers and producers and directors want men who have heft in their personality, they
Mhm.
quite often go after English actors, right?
Yeah, a
As
lot of
if-
times they do.
As if there's some heft that American actors can't bring to the scene or something. And I gotta admit, I can see Aaron kind of struggling a little bit to generate the same level of heft as Maeve. Maeve just has swagger. She's just there, and I can see
Yeah.
like there's a scene where she said something to him and he kind of turns his head and says something like, oh, that's not what I meant. And it just felt so thin,
Mhm.
right? And so anyway, I'm not trying
Maybe
to
it's
be a-
just her experience. I mean, she's done lots and lots of movies. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And
Yeah.
she is an amazing actress.
Yeah.
I say it out loud every time the scene went back to him. One of y'all said something on episode 1, and you are so right. So Sistah Jay was complaining about his hair during this podcast. Is that what?
I think it was me last podcast that
Yeah,
talked
you.
about
I
his
think it was
hair.
Sistah A.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
right. And there's also Zombie Scotty. I too enjoy how the man in black has seemingly reversed course from slaughtering robots to exterminating humans. I that's one of my favorite things about the season. It's the same William, right?
Same
It's just
William.
you just turn the sign, from negative
Yeah.
to positive, and he's
Yeah.
doing the same thing, the different things. As I said it before, and I'll say it again, it's only a matter of time before sentient AI takes us all out. That's all for now. Sincerely, Goody. Well, thank you so much for writing in,
thank you,
Goody.
Goody.
Thank you,
Thank
Goody.
you, Goody.
And all the rest of you out there, feel free to write in if you can tolerate my clumsy editing, and we will take it from there. So, any final comments on this week's episode?
I liked it. It was
Looking
great.
forward
liked
to
it
the
too.
next one.
Me too.
Exactly.
Me too.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks to all of you to tuning in. Ladies, if you'd like to tell the audience where they can find you on public or social media, we'll start with Sistah Kay.
We are at sistahspeakproductions.com, and everywhere you find podcasts, just type in Sistah Speak and a plethora of podcasts will pop up.
Yes.
Very good podcast, by the way. I don't know if I said it at the beginning of the first podcast, but you ladies are my podcasting inspiration. There was a time 10 years ago where I would have said, I'd never do this. This is not me. This is not but no, this is very fun. And I'm glad the world goes full circle and you've been able to join me on this. How about you, Sistah Aye? Where can we find you?
Well,
And don't
of course
say
you
a
can
pub in
find us.
Boston.
Yeah, you could come up to Boston and find me there. I'll point out a few pubs I might be in on occasion.
Right.
But yeah, we are on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of that jazz. And we'd love to hear from you. So look us up.
Excellent. Sistah Jay, should I ask you, or are you just going to point to Sistah Kay?
I'm just going to say her right there.
There you go. Fantastic.
What she said.
There you go. Well, you can find me on Dark Loops Productions on YouTube. If you want to write in, you write into darkloopsproductions@gmail.com, and we'll see if we can read it at the end of our next podcast. So there it is. From all of us to all of you, big hugs. And remember, in this
world, you can be whatever you
effing want. Bye-bye.